Overpromised with Covino and Rich.
Yo, let's go.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
Warriors, Timberwolves tonight?
Watch some NBA?
Let's go.
Hopefully you're not blowing it in life like the Boston Celtics. What is going on?
How about let's go Knicks? Skies are blue and orange, according to Stephen A.
Speaking of New York sports, I thought of you last night when Devin Williams got out of that jam, because I think that moment would have broke him. My prediction before we get into today's Overpromised,
Yeah.
I think your boy Devin Williams is about to start a streak of dominance, the way he was as a Brewer.
Something snapped inside.
I think so.
I like it. He remembered who he was. Anyway, welcome to the show. Overpromised, our bonus pod. I'm Covino. That is Rich. This is episode 91. This is the stuff we can't fit into our 2 hours of awesome Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 on the East, 2 to 4 on the West. And remember, we're having a big party June 20th through the 22nd in Vegas. You're invited. All right, we'll see you there. But we have lots to get to today on this show. We have a gorilla update. 100 men versus one gorilla. There's an update.
Okay.
We're going to resolve it, put it to rest. Plus, let's say you don't necessarily root for a team. Are you allowed to wear that team's logo? I have a question and an explanation.
Okay,
I
sounds
have
good.
a reason to pose this question. But first and first, mostly, I read something about a new stat.
Is that why you put your glasses on? Are you trying to be all smart?
Yeah.
Statcast boy?
Sophisticated vato. Yeah. How much smarter do I look with these glasses and when I rub my beard?
Well, MLB
Ooh.
Statcast. You know, I'll let you take it away since this is based on your boy Aaron Judge, I think.
Well, why would you say that?
Because he's hitting some of those short porch home runs that I don't think mean anything.
Are you serious? Well, that's why they're doing it. Perhaps MLB is launching a new stat called the True Home Run, which will track balls that clear at least
Balls.
half of all major league stadiums.
Can I get that up?
Starting in 2026, players will have a separate home run total based on league-wide ballpark eligibility, tracked by StatCast.
Oh, so Aaron Judge will have like 64 home runs, 48 of which have gone out of every stadium other than Yankee Stadium?
Hey, man, that's why they
why-
have the short porch. That's why they build their lineup around it. Every stadium's different, but I get it, right? It's kind of cool. It's interesting, but it got me thinking. Do you have any thoughts? Are you against this new stat? There's stats for everything.
I don't think it means anything because a home run's a home run, but I think it's interesting to see what players play to the park. And it'll show you what guys hit bombs. Like, I'll tell you a guy, like a Shohei Ohtani. Shohei hits bombs. Pete Alonso hits bombs. Some guys like Giancarlo, who I love,
I'm sorry.
hit line drive.
Are you insinuating Aaron Judge doesn't hit bombs? That dude hits monster bombs. But yes, of course, a few
Yeah.
go out. So it would look like this. Let's say Shohei. Shohei hit 50 home runs, but according to the new StatCast, only 35 would have been out of all parks. So there's going to be two separate sort of stats, or half of the parks.
Well, the Green Monster is an interesting one up in Boston. So like a Devers or, a guy that hits bombs up there could be very different based on ballparks. Because sometimes you just get under one at Fenway, get that Green Monster. So it should be an interesting stat. I like this.
So anyway, based on this stat, home runs and what counts and what doesn't, it got me thinking. I put my glasses on. I was like, ooh. Started scratching my beard. Deep thoughts came. Ooh. And
Who are you, Alberto Einstein?
yes. Made me think about inside the park home runs. And here's my thought on that. They only count in the MLB. So if you're a kid and you're like, I hit 5 home runs, but they were inside the park Little League home runs, or you're an adult and you still talk about, when I was Little League, I hit and they were inside the park, that does not count. Get out of here. That doesn't, and I got another rule.
What's your age on this? I'll tell you why. Because my daughter's girls softball team
doesn't count.
In the playoffs, some girl hit a rope. It just got by everyone. And she's like, I had a home run. And what am I going to tell her? Well, actually, buddy, it was a double with 2 errors.
Forget about the StatCast
gonna
new
tell
home
him?
run stat. This is the SACcast rule. SAC, Stephen Anthony Covino.
Jesus.
The SACcast rule. So inside the parkers only count in the MLB. And softball, you're always bragging about softball. A lot of people playing Sunday softball or beer league softball. Softball home runs don't count unless there's a fence. That's it. There has to be a fence.
I can't disagree with that because there are times where they move our game to a non-fence field. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, you know what it's like? It's
Some
like playing,
jabroni misplays it, or
gets
some
in a-
big fatso can't get it,
Well,
and you
no,
outrun.
it's-
That doesn't count. There's got to be a fence. You're an adult.
sometimes you hit a gap and it just keeps rolling.
Yeah, I get it. You rounded the bases and you scored a run. You went all the way around. That's not a home run. So those are my StatCast
You know what it's like?
rules.
It's like playing basketball at a park and they don't have a net.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
Playing softball or Little League without a fence is like basketball without the net.
The
You're playing,
weakest.
but there's a layer of the game missing. And, what age do you think you start telling a kid, like, hey, buddy, that was a nice rip, but it was a double
When
on
did
an
you
error.
start hitting home runs? 9, 10, right? Like real home runs.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Right. The 27 Little League home runs that I brag about, and by the way, it's not bragging if it's true, but all 27 were over the fence.
I heard Union was 120 down the line, like the smallest field. Is that true?
It's like 235 or something,
Get
right?
outta
Little
here.
League, Little League dimensions.
Get out of here.
Little League dimensions.
Probably 180.
Nah, I hit one for fact though, 275 when I was 10 years old. When I was 10,
You're the fucking greatest.
I just remember that. I mean, but again, over the fence. So
Look
what
at
are my
you.
rules?
Well,
Inside the Parkers only count in MLB.
Easton, big
and
barrel.
softball home runs only count if there's a fence, if it's over the fence. But then it got us thinking even further based on this new StatCast home run stat, right? What are some of your favorite inside the park home runs? Because I have one that comes to mind for me, and it was on a historical day that I remember watching.
And you know what? It's odd because I agree with you, which I hate because disagreeing with you brings me joy.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball, my take is completely different than softball and Little League. That is where inside the park home runs have no clout to me. In the bigs, if you beat an outfielder and somehow zip around the bases, I think that's more impressive, to be honest. So I give clout to the inside the park home run. And
They sometimes call it a Little League home run, but there's a few that stick out to me as memorable. The year was 1990. 90. You were rocking your
bro, it's the 90s.
Cavaricis. You're wearing your IOU sweatshirt. Spot, you're wearing a Big Johnson t-shirt.
I had a mullet.
Probably had a beeper or something, right? You had a flat top. 1990, July 17th. Let me just build up the matchup.
Okay.
Kansas City Royals playing against the New York Yankees. And guess who's playing against each other? Neon Deion Sanders, which is Jerry Curl, who's known for his speed and his athleticism and a two-way player, versus Bo Jackson, who was the G status football, baseball guy. So it was like the matchup of the year, like Deion Sanders versus Bo Jackson.
Both doing remarkable things.
1990, Deion Sanders hits a line drive and he put his speed on display. And I remember watching it as a kid, like, damn, he is fast. This guy's going to be somebody.
So you have a favorite inside the park home
Ready
run?
again with a 3-2 pitch. Drilled to center
Bo
field.
Jackson
Bo
lays
Jackson
out.
going over, leaps and can't get it. It goes all the way to the fence. Deion Sanders blazing around second. Tabler goes over to get the
Helmet
ball,
comes
plays it in there,
flying
waving
off.
him home. The throw to the plate gets
Boom!
on by
Error
Sanders,
by the catcher.
flies over,
Triple and an error.
And now he is
No way,
safe
dude.
at home.
Look at that. And you know what makes
There's
it even
a pile
greater?
of bodies at the plate.
The fist pump, Alvaro Espinosa there. The fact
Here
that
comes
Bo
John
Jackson
Wathen out to
went
argue. McFarland
the
is
extra mile, the extra leap to prevent that from happening, to show his athleticism, and Deion got his inside the Parker, right? But you know what else is crazy about this story? Everybody remembers the inside the Parker from Deion Sanders because his career was magnificent, right? Bo Jackson hit 3 home runs that day.
But what's remembered?
Well,
That triple and an error.
I think what's remembered is nobody's better than Bo effing Jackson. Bo knew home runs too. He hit 3 over the fence.
I alter my stance a little bit. After watching that,
Yeah.
Bo took a chance. Not an error, but he took a chance. He could have held back, fielded it on one bounce, held him to a single or double, right? In the gap. Bo took a chance. That's advantage Ricky Henderson. I'm sorry, Deion Sanders. Then, if that throw is at all close to online, he's dead at the plate.
That's
To-
all part of it.
Yeah,
You're
but to
taking a
me-
risk. Life's a risk, Carnal.
But look, now Bo.
It's the most memorable to me because that game was a matchup, a buildup.
All right, but watch. When Deion rounds third,
Yeah.
he's a dead duck if this throw's on the line. Look. And boom, out. Terrible throw.
Doesn't matter. Look at the moment. Yeah, buddy, it counts because it's in the MLB. If that was Little League, get out of
All
here.
right, let me give you mine. I can only remember this one because it was peculiar. I'm like, this guy hit a grand slam.
Well, I know your
I'm
thought,
sorry,
though.
inside the Parker.
Rich often says, and I agree with him, I do love the ones where the guy's hustling around and he's so burnt out by the time he reaches home plate, he slides in, and they're just laying there.
Laying there like a
It happens all
starfish.
the time. It's part of the art of inside the Parker. You just lay there like, I did it. And you sort of take it in, with your arms spread out at home plate. But the one you speak of now, this doesn't happen.
No, Prince Fielder, who's a big fella, inside the park home run. Remember this? Reminisce with me a little bit, because an unassuming guy.
One of his 309.
So,
And if Ford sees it, he'll catch it.
That baby's up there.
He didn't see it.
he doesn't see it.
but there he goes. But he turns on the
And
Jets.
he'll round third.
Look at that.
Castillo's throw to the plate. Not in time. And
And
inside
dude,
the park,
so
home run
spent
for
he has to
Prince
go
Fielder.
into the clubhouse to catch his breath because he's having a heart
I don't
attack.
think he can stop.
Yeah, he couldn't stop. You know, but again, one of his 309 wasn't inside the Parker. And if you were to guess, actually, he may have hit more than one, but he actually had a surprising amount of triples and things like that. You would never think that Prince Fielder would have had one at all.
Yeah.
So,
Look at this slow-mo of him running
It lands
into home
behind
plate.
him. By the time
Yeah, he
the
can't
Twins
stop.
can get it back in, it's an
he
inside
has
the
to
park home run.
get in an oxygen machine
Prince
when he walks
Fielder.
in.
But yeah, there is an art to the inside the park home
So
run.
again, the StatCast home run stat will track what they call a true home run, home runs that clear at least half of all major league stadiums. These are the rules moving forward according to this. Now, I have another question.
Yeah.
Fox Sports Radio, Overpromised Nation. As you know, you can see here, my Travis Matthew quarter zip. I'm a Yankees fan. I don't have a hockey team.
But by the way, quick question before we get to this.
Sure.
Typically, I had to look this up.
Okay.
How many inside the park home runs are hit each season in MLB?
20.
Wow. Between 10 and 20 is the typical year. Since 2001, there have been a couple hundred inside the park home runs. So
It's always exciting, yeah.
the average is about 13 a year. So listen, you're like a third of the teams have one guy that hits an inside the parker.
Happens
so not,
every
not
once
easy.
in a while. So as a Yankees fan, I don't have a hockey team. Grew up on the East Coast. Yeah, of course, a lot of Rangers, Devils, even Islanders fans.
I was going to say, I get it because you weren't a hockey guy, but growing up on the East Coast, you had more options than anyone.
Had a lot of options, but I had no ice skating
Rangers,
rinks.
Islanders, Devils. Like
That
you
was
had
my point.
three. Yeah.
Where was I going ice skating? I was going to get into it. Great teams, great history there, but I'm a kid that was playing wiffle ball in the street. I wasn't ice skating anywhere.
Your rationale is funny though. Where was I going ice skating? You
Well,
think
that's how you get into the sport, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing baseball my whole life. So
where am I going ice skating?
I'm trying to prove a point, though. Not a hockey fan.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking grades of steel.
I was a Nintendo hockey fan where I picked two medium guys, one skinny guy and one fat guy.
Those are the rules.
That was the best lineup.
Blades of Steel was a great game. I love the fighting involved. Plus, I lost an ex-girlfriend to a professional hockey player. That's a whole other
Yeah,
story.
that's-
New York Ranger, but
Should have led with that.
yeah. There is, however, something called the Utah Hockey Club, right?
There is something called
And I
that.
thought that their new logo and their new mascot was going to be the Yeti. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That was the story for a while. The Utah Yeti, and then they voted against it, and everyone's like, oh, man, that would have been so cool. The Yeti, you're picturing like a mountain with a fucking Sasquatch behind it. Like, to me, that felt cool and right.
I do. I picture the, what was that snow monster from the Christmas ones?
Yeah, that's exactly the one I
Or
pictured.
the
yeah.
guy from Frozen? Like,
The one from Rudolph Claymation.
Yeah, that guy. However, they said, you know what? No way. We got a new permanent mascot and logo. And they're going with the Utah Mammoth. And
I think equally cool, though.
I got to tell you something. I'm from Union, New Jersey, okay? That's the new logo, and I'm going to explain this. Growing up in Union, me and my goofy Guido friends and pals growing up, if you were the man,
If they don't have a mascot, even though it's the Mammoth, they need like some type of cool, like,
that would have been cool.
that would have been cool.
Growing up,
Yeah.
if you were the man, let's say you were a ladies' man or you're just a stud on the field or you just walked with that confidence, right?
Yeah.
You had a sweet flow and pompadour. You were a mammoth. Yo, bro, you're a mammoth. And it was just a way of hyping people
Mammoth.
up. Like, what a mammoth,
What a
bro.
mammoth.
See that dude? That dude had 3 home runs today. What a mammoth. Mammoth was our thing.
That was your word.
Growing up. It was our word amongst friends. Like, dude, look at that. Dude thinks he's a mammoth. Mammoth was our word. Because I identify with the word and it's so inside amongst my friends since we were kids. would it be fair game for me to rock a Mammoth hat? Because the logo's kind of cool. Can I please show you the inside meaning before you decide?
Yeah.
You see the mountain landscape of Utah hidden in there. They went with the mammoth because they've discovered many of mammoth fossils throughout history in Utah.
Ooh.
There's a subtle U for Utah in the tusks.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look closely, if you zoom out, Spot, actually zoom in. I'm sorry. There's an M to the left by the mountain. So there's a lot going on there, right? Like there's a lot. I love the hidden meanings, the subliminals. It means something. Although I like the Yeti, the Mammoth is a cool logo, man. I like it. And my question again, being that I have no affiliation to any hockey team whatsoever, because I'm subjected to only Yankees hats, is it cool to mix it up with a Mammoth one if this is a cool logo and a team? Can I just say, yeah, bro, Mammoths, bro?
I'm gonna
is that an illegal move?
I'm going to give you 100% thumbs up on this. I think because you're not a hockey guy, so you can.
Cool hat.
It's a cool hat, a cool logo.
I'm a Mammoth.
And I got to be honest with you. I think I don't think I'm the only one. Has every guy or woman at least one time been like, that logo's cool. I sort of want some merch. I'll give you my example.
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, what year did the Orlando Magic debut? Late 80s, early 90s? I forget.
I'm thinking like 90.
90, around there, I'd imagine.
Right? I don't know.
Orlando Magic. When that logo...
It was 1989.
When that logo debuted, I bought an Apex Orlando Magic jacket because
Weren't you a big Amazing Kreskin fan? So you were a big Magic kid.
And, Siegfried and Roy.
Rich wanted to be a magician.
But for some reason, I thought that jacket with the pinstripe and the logo and the colors,
cool.
I just, as a kid of the early 90s.
Yeah, but you were a little New York Knicks kid.
I love that Magic color scheme and everything. So
it was. I would say the Charlotte Hornets was the one though. Like that was universally rocked by everybody, regardless of affiliation.
That was a popular one, especially with the little pouch that started.
Because the logo, some logos were and colors were undeniably cool. And I think the new Mammoth logo might be the one. I'm not hating on you for that, Rich. I'm not at all. Because you're a kid and kids make odd choices. And that Magic one was pretty cool. Not bad.
I'm gonna send Spot one that I just realized like a week ago. By the way, my daughter's softball team, my wife designed the logo.
Yeah.
And I rock a sweatshirt with it because I think it's cool. We're the Ice Crushers.
She designed it like a graphic artist?
Well, the AI, that's what AI is now. How do you think they made that Mammoth thing?
Yeah, that's dope, man.
I have a sweatshirt with them. People are like, what's the Ice Crushers? I'm like, my daughter's 8U softball team, but it looks cool.
That is cool, yeah. You'd be like, oh, it's a minor league team I used to play for.
But no, there is a minor league team I want to give shout outs to.
That's another thing. Hold on, I'm glad you brought that up. Minor league team, I think it's fair game. I think you're allowed to rock a Modesto Nuts, or I used to rock the Greensboro Bats. It was a Yankee affiliate, I believe. But if you like a minor league logo, who cares? I do think that's fair game, and I'm a stickler for these rules.
Did you see the new one? Spot, look up the Crystal Coast Booty Divers.
Oh, yeah, I got to get that one.
They changed their name for like a part of the season.
I
but
got to get that
just
one.
the simple fact that they're the Crystal Coast Booty Divers. Obviously going for treasure, but who doesn't want a t-shirt or a hat that says Booty Divers?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great.
That's the hot
Props
new
to
logo
them.
in town.
So, got to get it. Booty divers, man. Hunting for treasure.
Yeah.
Need that.
And by the way, you don't think those...
Just don't want to wear that when you're picking your kid up at school.
You don't think he's reaching for the two cheeks there? Come on.
Absolutely. Those are cheeks if I've ever seen
Those are
them.
portholes.
Nah,
yeah,
man.
No, but cheeks.
Yeah. Booty cheeks. So, before we move on, I got to shout out my guy, Mark Muth. If you were a true mammoth, you're just a muth. You're just a muth. Mark Muth, the biggest, greatest muth of them all. And now I digest. It's been the question of the month.
Yeah.
It really has, right? Swept the nation.
I couldn't believe how much this blew up, but I'll be honest, you're one of the first guys I heard talking about this.
Rich is like, this is stupid.
This goes back a while for me because you're one of the first guys where I was like, damn, this guy's obsessed with finding out how many, humans can kill a gorilla.
Well, I was just trying to tell you that, hey, guys, everybody's debating this. It's crazy to see how many different opinions there are. People are trying to get scientific about it and everything. The gorilla, how many can 100 men, average men, beat up one silverback gorilla? That's the story, right? Well, they're asking everybody. People are writing about it. Most recently, the greatest of them all, Rolly Romero, was talking about it. I don't know if you guys saw
He's
it.
a little guy, though.
Rolly Romero is a little dude, but he's a fighter. He just beat, I should say, Ryan Garcia.
He knocked him down once.
Knocked him down.
100 dudes versus one silverback gorilla.
Bruh, humans been capturing gorillas for years.
So you're actually going with the humans?
Hell,
You're the first person to go with the humans.
I don't know which idiot truly believes that a gorilla is gonna beat mankind. I would set a trap.
Wait. You're going with the humans
Yes.
over the gorilla.
Yeah.
It was like 450,
Yeah.
dense, rip your limbs off.
How many gorillas are in the zoo?
I don't know, one? I don't know. How many? Which zoo? Bronx Zoo? We're in New York. What don't you think, though, the first guy that goes up to the gorilla and he rips him shred to shred, don't you think the other 99 guys are going to take off?
There would be a trap. Bro,
trap.
I mean, dude, do you see humanity, bro? Like, dude, we built skyscrapers and shit, bro. You think a fucking gorilla's gonna beat us?
The skyscrapers are punching bags.
So, I mean, that's him, though.
He's
Bones
saying,
Jones.
We're too smart. That's courtesy of Inside Boxing Live, Rolly Romero.
And I think it's funny that fighters are now chiming in because Bones Jones, John Jones said, I'll help 100 and beat a gorilla. But he goes, first of all, what did the girl do?
Right.
He's like, he inquired, like, why are we doing this in the first place?
Yeah, because a lot of times gorillas just mind their business and they're not bothering anybody.
And Bones Jones said, listen, I think if you get a bunch of guys from the NFL, UFC, big guys, we would take that thing down in no time. He goes, you're forgetting we're humans, much like Rolly Romero. Like, we capture animals and put them in cages and zoos. Like, we are still humans. It's a civilized society.
So believe me, just when you thought this was finally going away and the debate was over and hey, we're smarter than gorillas, we'll figure it out. Someone will grab a leg like Van Gundy and then someone will go high and low. We're smart. 100 of us?
Come on.
The question has now morphed into something more interesting, and that's how many Don Zimmers? Can 100 Don Zimmers beat one Pedro Martinez a la the infamous moment?
I'm going 8 Don Zimmers. I think 8 Don Zimmers. He's old. I mean, Pedro just sort of tossed him, but he has old guy strength. Remember, he would wear the army hard hat in the dugout once in a while?
I'm glad you brought that up because let's look at the sequence of events, Spot, what really took place that day because it was wild. Zimmer comes running out. Pedro grabs him by the head. No, he grabs him by the head like, yo, and he tosses him. There, see? Grabs him by the head. Then he does a toss to the side. And then like Zimmer like died there for a second. I remember he died.
He's dead.
And that was
he came back to life.
If I'm not mistaken, a 31-year-old Pedro and a 72-year-old Don Zimmer at the time. That's our dad's age. And Don Zimmer, he was like an old 72, it seemed like. So, Rich,
He does look dead.
when you and I agree, and by the way, Pedro was hated for a long time because
What was he
of this.
supposed to do?
He was the enemy at this point.
I thought it was a good move.
That's a question itself. What was he supposed to do? Right? He's being attacked by an old guy. He's like, yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, just toss him.
But at the time, he was like, how could you do that to Zim? When Rich and I agree, it's fact. Can 100 Zimmers beat up one Pedro?
8 can.
The answer is yes. I believe 8, but I do believe 6 Zimmers wearing army helmets
Can do it? Okay.
can beat. So it depends. Yes, 8 Zimmers can beat up one Pedro, 6 with the helmet.
I think we should leave it at that and wish everyone a great
That's
Thursday.
it. What do you think, guys?
6 Army Zimmers.
6 Army Zimmers. Hit us up. Yes. At Fox Sports Radio, at Covino and Rich, hashtag Overpromised. Thank you, Spot, producing the show. Catch us Monday through Friday. We'll see you in Vegas in June. And enjoy the NBA tonight.
Perfect. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land.
Goodbye.
6 Army Zimmers.